Hey everyone, today I'm coming to you with a review on the brand new Star Wars Black Series Doctor Aphra from the latest 2023 line of the Black Series comic book figures. Now I have to say I was really looking forward to getting a Doctor Aphra figure as I did miss the first release of the character, and a lot of people did as well. That is one of the most sought after and expensive Black Series figures on the aftermarket, and the cool thing about this figure is not only do we get a new Black Series Doctor Aphra on the market, but for the people that did get that previous version, this is a complete different outfit. So it is a worthy inclusion to anyone's collection that did get it, and definitely a worthy inclusion to anyone's collection who didn't. So without further ado, let's get into the Star Wars Black Series Doctor Aphra review. Now, as always, I do want to start off with the packaging for this figure. This is in your standard kind of more modern Black Series comic/legends box design, which does open and you do have the image, but here it is plastic free, which they are getting rid of as of an announcement yesterday, which is very, very good. Everyone can rejoice. But anyway, that is another story for another time. On the front, you have a very nice image of Dr. Aphra, although the goggles are very different, which, oh, same thing on the side. Oh, I guess, yeah, same outfit, and the goggles that are on the figure are there, and there, and there, and there, and there. So I guess it makes more sense to have this. It is the same goggles that were used on the first release, so I kind of thought it was just a lazy reuse based off of the cover, but it does make sense, I believe. But there you have a very nice image of Dr. Aphra. I believe this is a comic cover. I don't want to even begin to guess what this is. Let me know in the comments below. On the side, you have another image, Doctor Aphra, Star Wars Black Series, and then on the sides, as always, you have some comic panels of the actual character in action, Santo there. I'll do a comparison with the figure, the lesser of the two Chrysanthemum figures, as I don't have that new Chrysanthemum. No one does. You have some other panels, very, very cool. And a very nice image on the top. Looks like she's holding a Kyber crystal. And then in the actual inside of the package, there you have a very, very action-posed Dr. Aphra. Two guns. Definitely interesting. I don't think she has two guns that often. There you have her droid in the background, someone running off. And then the bio reads, Dr. Aphra, unpredictable rogue archaeologist Dr. Shali Lona Aphra is one of the galaxy's most daring treasure hunters. Despite questionable morals and equally bad judgment, her luck hasn't run out yet. I really do hope we see her in live action one day. I do think that would be very cool. Although, I just saw the Ahsoka trailer today, and I have to say, the face on this, as, you know, it is a comic figure, and they did try to make this look more live action, this looks a lot like the Sabine, especially with the hair over. You can't see the whole face, at least to me. That looks a lot like, I want to say Sasha Leo Bardizzo, or Lizzo Bardizzo, I don't know. Lizzo in Star Wars, that was something else, but anyway, there you have the actual image, the plastic-free image of the figure render. She does have plastic or pinless knees on the front of the package, and the figure does not, so that isn't a great thing. But other than that, that is all that I really have to say about the packaging. Very, very nice design, but let's get on to what you all came here for, Dr. Aphra. Now, for the Dr. Aphra figure herself, I gotta say Hasbro did quite a good job with this. And like I mentioned in the intro, I am very, very pleased that they did go with an entirely different outfit. It does please both parties. Those that did get this figure, which is the minority, will be happy to get this because it is a different outfit. And those that didn't will just be happy to get a new Dr. Aphra in the line. As like I mentioned in the intro, that first one goes for so much money on the aftermarket. But as the figure just stands herself, it is majority reused. The legs and the torso and the head, and I believe the scarf are reused. The scarf and the head are reused from the previous Dr. Aphra, and I do believe the previous Dr. Aphra did use this torso and the legs as well. Obviously different colors, but I could be wrong on that. I haven't looked at that figure in a long time, but this is the body of the Jaina Solo as well as the Mara Jade. So it is definitely interesting that two of the three figures in this recent comic Black Series wave use the same body. That is just, you know, you don't see that too often. I did notice on the back of this figure there is a little bit of I don't know what that is, like extra paint or some weird, I don't know, some weird kind of looks like pencil markings, but that was always on my figure when I opened it, which it isn't too big of a deal. I imagine I can rub that off. Now, the actual jacket of this figure is using that new kind of more pliable Black Series I don't know what to call it, plastic, because I don't feel comfortable calling it plastic. It is more rubber-like. It is used on the Luthen figure, which I will have a review coming up for very soon, and I do really like this. It is very, very pliable, and you can get the figure into a lot of poses with it, and it isn't going to necessarily rip. So I'm really happy that they introduced this in the line, and I hope we do see it with a lot more figures. Now, the arms, I believe, and the jacket are entirely new sculpts, so that is nice to get some new elements on this figure, and I do have to say they definitely do add to the already pre-existing sculpt. I really do enjoy the whole outfit combo that we have going on here. The orange with the brown pants, it just looks very, very good, and I feel like this would be a good outfit to have her appear in live action. I'm really holding out hope that she will appear in live action. I don't know what series she could appear in. Maybe Skeleton Crew. That would, ooh. Not a lot of people are very excited for that show. Well, I'm speaking for myself, I guess, and a few people that I know, but if she was included, I know a lot of people would watch that show. But anyways, that is just hope. But hey, that is what Star Wars is based on, so you never know. Let me know what you think she would appear in if she did appear in live action. It's Star Wars Celebration today, so I'm very, very giddy on all the news and all the movies. It's just very, very cool. Let me know what your favorite announcement was in the comments below. But anyway, I'm getting off track. Now, for the rest of this figure, there isn't actually too much going on. As I mentioned, it is majority reuse, and as you can see, it is using that very, very good body, as I mentioned, with that crazy articulation, which we will get into later. Now, for the gun, that is kind of a more standard Black Series Rebel gun. I believe we got this with some Luke Skywalkers, as well as with the not the Jaina Solo. Oh, I believe it came with the Jaina Solo, actually. I meant to say the Mara Jade. It is very common, is my point, and I believe that is a new color, though I could be wrong on that. And I do really like the glove colors that we have going on here. The black with a little bit of orange definitely just adds a lot more detail that wasn't entirely necessary, but I am happy that it is there. Although it is necessary because it is on the actual design, but you know Hasbro, sometimes they like to just miss things that are very important. Now, the last thing that is kind of note of this figure, which a lot of people would probably know, but even more probably wouldn't know, is that you could actually take the hat or helmet or whatever you want to call this off the figure. And I gotta say, I don't like that. I think that just looks very, very smushed, and it just, I don't know, makes it look off to me. So I'm going to keep that on. You can also take this kind of scarf piece off, and that looks better. I guess that does help with the helmet being off, but that is a good option to have. You just, more options to have this figure displayed is always greater. But anyway, let's put that back on. The only other thing to really go over is that you can push it down. That does look quite good. But yeah, honestly, it is a very, very desirable figure, and I'm very happy to have it. But as it stands, it is fairly simple, you know, all things considered. I guess you can put this in the holster. But other than that, I think that's all I have to say about this Doctor Aphra. Yeah, I think that's all I got to say. So let's get on to her articulation. Now, for the articulation on this Doctor Aphra, it is surprisingly good. Well, we knew it was going to be good with that ab crunch, but even with this jacket, which you would think would get in the way, it does not get in the way because, as I mentioned, it is using that newer Black Series material that they just recently introduced into the line. But anyway, the head does go back that much, which is actually more than I was expecting. Down, pretty good amount. Little to no tilt. Full 360, arms go out that much, down, full 360. This part here kind of gets in the way. Single jointed elbows, which go in a little more than 90. They do rotate, and then both hands go down, up, and full 360 on a horizontal hinge. Now, for the legendary ab crunch, you do have the first joint up top, which goes back that much, forward, not at all really, side, side, and then full 360. But you also get the other joint, which allows her to go like that, which is just unhumane to me at least, but it is a very good joint to get nonetheless. I remember when that first was introduced on the Jaina Solo in, what was it, like 2017, 2018, that was revolutionary. That was easily one of the best articulated figures in all of the Hasbro lines at the time, and I'm very happy that they do have it on this figure as well as the Mara Jade, but you don't have any waist swivel, which I guess you don't really need it, but the legs do kick forward that much. Back, splits, upper thigh cut, double jointed, pinned knees, which, yeah, it is advertised on the box being pinless, but hey, what can you expect? The plastic-free packaging is going away soon, so we only have to deal with it for a little under a year, I imagine. Then the ankles do go, oh, I'm scared. They go I'm really scared. I don't want to break them. Up, down. I don't know why that one's not going up. That's a little scary. Up, down, and beautiful ankle rocker pivot. But overall, pretty good articulation for the Doctor Aphra. Now, first for comparisons, here we have Doctor Aphra next to two of the arguably most important figures to show her next to. We have the Obi-Wan Kenobi Darth Vader, as well as the previous wave of comic figures, Curse Santin or Santo. These look very, very good together. I really like this Doctor Aphra, but I gotta say, when I have these two figures next to her, I like her even more, and I like this Curse Santin even more. I wasn't too happy on this figure, but now that I have another comic figure that really does go with her, I do enjoy this figure a little bit more, especially after seeing that other one. You know, I was a little scared that this was going to be the only one that we were going to get, but now that we are getting that perfect, I mean it, perfect Book of Boba Fett version, I'm honestly happy, I guess, to have this in my collection. It's still not great, but it's not terrible knowing that we are going to get the one that we do want. Next up for comparisons, here we have the Doctor Aphra next to C-3PO, as well as a standard Black Series Stormtrooper. I thought I'd compare her next to C-3PO, as he is a protocol droid. I don't have the protocol droid that does go with her, but I gotta say, you know, just for scale, I guess, it was important to show her next to a protocol droid. Next up for comparisons, here we have Doctor Aphra next to two other figures that do share the same body as her, and I gotta say, these three figures are easily some of the best female Black Series figures that we do have in the line. And then lastly, for comparisons with the Doctor Aphra figure, here we have Emperor Palpatine from the archive line, as well as the heir to the Empire Luke Skywalker figure. Now, for my final thoughts on this Star Wars Black Series Doctor Aphra figure, I gotta say I am very impressed with what Hasbro did here. I think this will please the entire Black Series community as a whole. As I mentioned, those that did have the previous released version of this figure will be happy to have a new outfit, and those that didn't even get a Doctor Aphra will be very happy to just get a brand new Doctor Aphra in the line, especially for the price point. I know that is quite steep, that is Canadian, keep in mind, but that is a walk in the park compared to the $200 or so that would have been paid if I wanted to get the previous version that is on the aftermarket. So the $40 that I paid for this figure, I'm honestly completely fine with, because I really did want to get a Doctor Aphra figure to add to my Black Series collection. But with that price in account for my rating, I think I'm going to give this figure, I think I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I think that is fitting. You don't get too many accessories here, even though, you know, I guess she doesn't need too many besides her gun. It would have been nice to get something more included with this figure, but I'm still very, very happy with what we got here. And I think a lot of you that watch this video and a lot of people that are going to get this figure are going to be very happy as well. But as always, please let me know what you think of this figure in the comments below. Are you happy with the choice of the new costume, or would you just preferred a complete re-release of the previous version and like the archive line, or just in this line? Please let me know what you think of that in the comments below, and as always, I will try my best to respond. But until my next video, as always, I have been Jagger Collector. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.